close personal friend of mine. Get over Nikki Galiano!
Hi everyone. Thanks so much for coming out tonight. My name is Nikki Galiano. And sometimes, just for the fun of it, I like to apply for jobs I'm not even remotely qualified for. The other day I was at work just flipping through the want ads, because that's what I do when I'm at work, I flip through the want ads. And I came across an ad that said, copywriter, must love dogs. And I thought, wow, that sounds intriguing. I have no idea what a copywriter does, but I do love dogs, and I have watched all the episodes of Mad Men, so I decided I might as well apply. And this is kind of what my cover letter sounded like. Dear Mr. So-and-so, and I probably should have used his real name, but I was at work, so I was pressed for time. Dear Mr. So-and-so, I think I'd be a great copywriter because sometimes when I'm really bored, I like to come up with imaginary names for businesses and funny taglines that go along with them. So far, my favorite one has been Naked Airlines. We get you through security faster. I gave them a few more examples, and then at the end of the letter, I wanted them to know how much I love dogs, so I signed it, Rub My Tummy, Nikki Galiano. I didn't get called in for an interview, but sometimes my prank actually backfires, and I do get called in for one. And one time I applied for a job in Washington, D.C., and not only did I get a call back for an interview, but I got the job. And I was feeling pretty good about myself. And then I realized, wait, this is Washington, D.C. They are used to hiring people that are not even remotely qualified for the job. But I was doing pretty well at that job. And about 2 weeks later, someone tapped me on the shoulder and pulled me aside and said, hey, Nikki, you do realize that you're supposed to wear a suit every day to work, right? And I said, a suit? Every day? What kind of a crazy operation are you guys running here? The last time I wore a suit to work every day was when I worked at an amusement park and I had to dress up like a dancing skunk. And those suits are hot. But I liked that job a lot, but I got fired because one day I fell off a box in the middle of a show and my giant skunk head were going across the stage. And so I got fired for scaring all the kids to death. So I swore that I would never wear another suit to work again. So I had to quit the job. So then I had to come back to my other boring job working as a pharmacist. And the only fun you can have as a pharmacist, I swear to God, is harassing people over the intercom. Especially those people who might be your ex-boyfriends. Mr. Anderson, please come back to the pharmacy and pick up your... Oh, wait, I see you've already picked something up. Please stop on aisle 5 and pick up something else so you don't spread it around. Yeah, I got fired from that job, too. All my friends kept asking me, Nikki, why did you become a pharmacist anyway? You really don't seem like a type. I said, I don't know, I guess, well, it's kind of simple. I had no other choice. I flunked out of waitressing. But it's true. One day I was at work and people might wonder how on earth you flunk out of waitressing, but it's pretty easy. First, the hostess brings into your station 12 blind people and sets them at one table. Then the second thing that has to happen is that you do not recognize the fact that you're blind, that they're blind. So the first thing that I did was I passed out a bunch of menus to all of them. The second thing I did is one of them asked what the specials of the day are, and I pointed to the board. The third thing that happened was one of them asked if they could write a check, and I said, sure, as long as you have a driver's license. And then at the end of the meal, honestly, at the end of the meal, I brought the dessert tray out, and I said, does anything look good? I thought I was trying to be funny, but honestly, I swear to God, I was just clueless. And my boss let that one slide, and he says, one more problem and you're going to get fired. Then the next week, one of their friends came in. And I went to go take his order, and he goes, my friend Juan was here last week, and he said you were hilarious, and I've got to sit in your section. And I said, Juan, is he the short guy with dark hair and olive skin? Yeah, somehow I got fired from that job, too. After that, I didn't have a lot of choices, so I became an ice cream truck driver. And things were going great there. It really matched my personality. And then I started having problems because I suffered from this little syndrome known as the dust syndrome. And if you have never heard of the dust syndrome, it's basically something like this. I can talk all day long to a guy that I'm not attracted to, but the minute I meet a guy who I am attracted to, about the only thing I can say is, duh, and anything that comes out of my mouth afterwards is pretty much just really embarrassing. So one day I took my ice cream truck to the gas station, and I was filling up the van, and I went inside to pay for it, and I knew I was in trouble when the guy at the counter turned around, because boy, was he hot. And the only thing I could think of to say was, I have gas. So I was so embarrassed, all I could do was just run outside, I jump in my ice cream truck, drove away as fast as possible, and that's when I realized that the hose was still attached to my van. So I went back in, and I picked up the hose, and I brought it back in. He's like, "Hi, can I help you?" And all I could think of to say was, "Is this yours?" He's like, "No, mine's bigger."